Hi everyone. Hey Brad, can you do me a favor and shoot me the link to the PowerPoint because in the middle of me launching it up, I got the important link closed. But as you know, I can freestyle that.
You bet, buddy. I'm going to send it your way right now.
All right, everyone. Before we start the webinar, we always want to make sure everybody knows that Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that you are seeing today on this presentation is for informational and educational purposes only. This is your standard disclaimer, and let's begin with the presentation. I'm back from vacation. It's been wonderful to be away, and now I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things, and Brad has been catching me up on all the incredible things that are going on. And Brad, you know there's a lot of incredible things going on.
Hey, you know, we don't stop, right? I mean, it's nonstop. Always good stuff.
So lots of things to cover today. Okay. What I
muted.
Are you typing that?
No,
I'm
that's
hearing?
Scott, but I just muted him.
Okay, good. Come on, Scott. It's hard enough to even show up, much less perform with clickety clacks. Okay. So everyone, there's a few very, very important things that I want to kind of get out the way. Obviously, this is just our first slide, and the whole thing about Trade Ideas and what we do differently is we're trying to break the mythos of people just handing their money to professionals to manage. Now, that sounds very general, and we've been saying this for a long time, but the world rewards risk-taking. You know, whether you're a hunter-gatherer who went out to hunt for themselves and you caught something and you ate it, or going all the way to the wildcatters going for gold in the West, or drilling in Texas, the big Texas oil boom, and of course, jumping quickly forward into the first trading revolution right after the 1987 crash, where they invented the small order execution system. And that gave life to myself and Brad. We were, just stumbling around the stock market. We were the kind of people that wanted to do something different. And once we figured out that there's this thing that most people have never heard about, and by the way, if you haven't heard about it, I really suggest you do some research on SOES, S-O-E-S. It's an acronym that's on the NASDAQ SOES system. It stands for the Small Order Execution System. And Brad, as you and I have been doing research on all sorts of things lately, we talk about how the internet itself was kind of an accident, that, before it was the internet, it was the DARPANet. Brad, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, the DARPANet, you bet. Government.
The government. And there's this terminology about sometimes you throw something over the fence and you don't realize what happens when that takes place. And I think that's what happened with the DARPANet becoming the internet and the World Wide Web. It was out there, first the government, then colleges, and then all of a sudden, here we are. Well, in a small example of that, the SOES system gave access to a few lucky people that were there at the right times to really be able to understand how the market works. What is a bid?
I think those people were known as bandits at the time.
They were known as bandits. But why were they known as bandits, Brad?
Kind of like Robin Hood, really. They were taking money from the rich. They were exposing the system, giving people an opportunity to really participate.
Well, I also think that they were called bandits by the people who are the bandits. A lot of times today you realize that literally things are reversed. It's like a bizarro world. So they were called bandits. We were called SOES bandits because we all of a sudden started competing with the market makers, the big boys, the Goldman Sachs, the Merrill Lynches, the Herzog, and we were competing with them in a technological way that actually gave us the advantage. And the reason that we are talking about this here is because this advantage showed us something that most people today just unfortunately aren't able to see. It's what happens. It's like if you slow down a cartoon, and you see the pictures going one by one, you start to understand the process of the art, right? You're like, oh, this is the one picture, and look at this picture, the arm is raised, and in this picture, the arm is this way, and then when you go really fast, it looks like motion. That's what happened to us, and this knowledge is what Brad and I and the rest of the Trade Ideas team bring to you. We don't expect you to know it. It's just like, you know, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, or more to the point, Steve Wozniak. They were at the right place at the right time, and Malcolm Gladwell, who's a kind of a pop psychology author, talks about that. Timing is everything, which is, by the way, why everyone else tells you, don't time the market. Don't, you can't time it. Don't time it. Notice that the people that tell you to invest in indexes are like billionaires like Warren Buffett. Okay. Now, he can afford to do all of that kind of stuff. But you as individuals, if you really want to do something beyond average, you are going to have to take action. That's why you're here at this webinar. Okay. So before we jump into some of the technological things, Brad, what I want to do is overall make sure that people are aware of some really key things that are happening with Trade Ideas. One of them is so important to all the early adopters that are here in this Q&A webinar, and that is that our prices are going up, ladies and gentlemen. Starting February, I'm going to say, I think 15th or so, or close to Valentine's Day, prices are going to be going up 20%. The reason is we are adding functionality at a pace that is just unrivaled by anybody else in the industry. Not only do we have the only artificial intelligence that is your Google navigation or Waze navigation or Apple navigation for driving the stock market with the destination set to profit, but we are also helping you see data and supply and demand in ways that are impossible without our technology. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be added even as the time between now and when prices are going to be going up. But the reason I'm telling you all this is because right now, if people do subscribe to Trade Ideas, they're simply able to lock in their old rates in perpetuity until you cancel. That's something that we do. It's a little bit different from a lot of people in the industry, but basically you can lock in your rates. In fact, one of the coolest things I've ever seen, Brad, is when you go and you look at some of our older customers, people who have been with us since 2005, you know, they're still paying the $45 rate because they haven't canceled. So that's kind of awesome. And that's something that, again, I want to make sure that everyone here understands there's going to be that opportunity. Now, Brad, I'm going to put the spotlight on you for a second.
All right.
You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have told me what you told me earlier, because I'll make you retell it to the audience.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if it was really meant for the audience, but
well, let me preface it by saying you got to say it the right way, Brad. I'm going to say it the way that it was, you know, because it was real. That's the right way to say it. Do it.
All right. Well, so I was on the desktop of a user of ours. He was having some issues, and I was going through the product and showing him how to do a few things that he wasn't aware of it. And he's like, you know, Brad, he's like, I need a reason to cancel my eSignal subscription. I'm a premium subscriber. And, you know, to be honest, I would pay twice what you guys are charging. And I just kind of stepped back and I thought that was kind of cool. But, you know, it's really true, because we're sitting there. I mean, every single moment of the trading day, we're sitting there looking at every single thing in the market. I mean, absolutely every single print that's happening. And we're making, you know, we're able to pull those interesting ideas out and send them right to you so that you can make money right at that time.
I think that's the best way that it can be described, but just the fact that somebody volunteered that without us saying it. And we, you know, and actually it's funny because people have said it to us before that we've undercharged, but our whole point was to give access to people at an affordable rate. It's still going to be affordable. So on that note, let's talk about something that you guys can take advantage of for free. So one of the ways that we on-ramp people is through the experience of seeing professional traders at their task doing what they're doing in a meritocracy. And you guys can Google a meritocracy, but what that is it's a group of people where the best kind of float up to the surface by the nature of the group. And that's what we have in our free trading room that's moderated by Barry Anderson. What year is this now in our trading room, Brad? Remind me.
God, I want to say it's year 4.
Okay, this is our 4th year, and we do this trading room for free. Why do we do this for free? We do it for free because we can afford to. Whereas most people, have to charge for the trading room. Our business is a software business. So what we do is we have a trading room that shows you the on-ramp cycle. In other words, you can come in, you can ask questions, you can see how do other people interpret the software, but also interpret the data in the software. And what's kind of cool is, similar to Adobe Photoshop, you can let the software go almost as deep as you can imagine. On the one hand, there's the very surface level of the technology, and I'm going to jump into that right now, but before I do, tradeideas.com/trading room. You can go to our website and go there, create a username. This is completely free. So let me minimize the trading room and go to the software. Real quick, does everyone see it? Monitor clear?
No, you're still on your PowerPoint. You're still on the trading risk rewarded.
What about now?
Same.
How's that possible, Brad?
Let me pull this. There you go. Now we're good.
Okay. Here we go. So here is the Trade Idea software, and everyone is able to see it, I'm hoping.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so remember we talked about the fact that you can let the software get as deep as you need it to get. So on the left-hand side, in this particular example, what I have is our channel bar. This channel bar shows you which stocks are moving up or down in various kind of thematic elements. Because the market is closed, right now I'm on the after hours channel. So here I can see what is moving after hours. I think I actually moved this a little bit like this. So here you can see Facebook had did they have earnings today? They must have, because they gapped down quite a bit after hours. Now they're trying to bounce up a little bit, but here you can just see information without really having to dig through it.
Well, you could look at your single stock window right there at earnings date and see exactly when that earnings was right there.
Today. So sorry, Brad. It's like I need to get my reading glasses on. So that's, by the way, something else is that in the single stock window, which is available in many of our channels, you can see the important information, like what would if you were trading Facebook, statistically speaking, what kind of a stop should you give it? How much has it moved recently? What's its market cap? Where is it in its overall position in the year? And then things that to give you some, again, relativity. What's its cash, revenue, quarterly revenue growth, etc. And this is available for not just Facebook, of course, but any stock that you need. So these channels let you see information in what we would say is a very efficient thematic way. So here we are in a channel called Alpha Predator. What does this mean? Alpha is the term that the industry uses to describe reward or returns that are above average. That's just the simple definition of alpha. And what we do with a lot of what we do with everything in Trade Ideas is we try to make it easy for you to be able to get something out of nothing. Let me show you. So notice that right up here, we have this thing called idea surfing. So what that means is, let's say you're a novice and you just don't know exactly what you should be looking at, okay? Notice that the software here is changing hands by itself. Now, notice as soon as I put the mouse on the chart, it pauses. Because it knows that, like, hey, wait a minute, something's interesting. Look at this move. Look at this volume. That interests me. And watch what I'm about to do. Just like in social media, I just liked Skyline Medical. Because all of a sudden, it seems like it's interesting to me. I don't need to worry too much about why or how. It's just, again, the simple action of just saying, hey, I'm interested in this. That's my liking. Now, when I move away from the stock and go back to the single stock window, the software will once again start to idea surf. And here it is again on MOD. And it will continue to do this without you needing to do anything. I want to talk a little bit about why that's important. And Brad, you and I have been researching a lot about all sorts of different things, like, for example, programming the mind. So there's this thing called neuro-linguistic programming. How do you program your mind to be more efficient? Well, there's this thing in your brain called myelin. I know, Brad, I'm sounding like Tiger Woods now, aren't I?
You're like a doctor.
I'm like a doctor without a license to drive. Driving people.
I'm
just kidding. So myelin is the substance in your brain that helps your brain learn new information. And the way Tiger Woods was talking about it, he says, I do lots of reps. Reps. You know it from working out. You know it from homework. Well, look at what I'm doing now with my eyes here. I'm doing stock reps without doing anything. Just nice and easy. I'm letting my eyes see things without the mind commenting or making judgments. Now, if I see something that interests me more specifically, I will right away go here, and I'm going to pause this real quick because this is yet another set of information that many of you have never seen, and I want to make sure you understand how to use it. Okay, so I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So first of all, Trade Ideas puts the artificial intelligence signals, if they have occurred in a stock, so that you can see, how does the AI behave? Does the AI behave in a way that you like? Does it behave in a way that you don't like? I mean, we can't force you to like what we do, but we can help you answer some questions. Like, for example, Brad, does this very answer the question of, does the AI possibly work for swing trading?
Yeah, I mean, the AI is a fantastic tool at identifying footprints of activity that's something unusual that's happening, and whether that's unusual for the day or setting up for a longer term, it identifies some incredible swing opportunities.
Well, remember, one of the things that you and I have talked on we've discussed this topic almost ad nauseum, and one of the things that I say is that the notion of day trading, going back to So's and So's Bandits, rest in peace, Harvey, was invented not by day traders. Okay, the day trader meme was invented by people who wanted to tell you that day trading is bad. Don't be a day trader. Those guys are just fast guys. They're the bandits, day traders. They're just like coming in real quick, get in, get out, boom. But it was not invented by actual speculators. The truth of the matter is, the length of time you hold something has nothing to do with being a day trader. Again, and that goes back to swing trading as well. Swing then implies like a longer term, but how long? Nobody knows. It's certainly not swinging, a vine or swinging on a swing. Like, for example, in this case, this buy on Very, and this is a daily chart, this could have lasted from 30 days, a nice month. The AI nailed this month in a way that it's one of the best nails ever. And even if you didn't catch the top and got out here, you still killed it. But notice that it's not a one-way monkey or a one-way show or a one-way road. So here it started to get a sense that something else was going on. Sell signal that didn't quite work out, but certainly was not something like selling here. Then another signal. So, I'm watching this and I'm like, okay. And then look at what happens. This is the advantage of having just that additional set of informative tools, another set of data that almost no one else has. Let me give you an example. Brad, what do we have now? About 3,000 subscribers like you guys. So there's 77 of you here, and there are approximately 3,000 people that pay Trade Ideas a subscription. Now, this does not include our license with E-Trade. They give it to another several thousand people, but that version is very, very old. So there's a fraction, a smidgen of early adopters who see this data and are profiting from it. And so from that perspective, you guys are in the right place at the right time, because you're here first and you're seeing information that other people aren't seeing. And what I'm trying to kind of show you is that this information is good for swing trading, it's good for day trading, and it's good in a way that you almost don't expect. And so from that point, I want to move on to something else. Why are we raising prices again? I'm going to show you a really cool piece of technology that kind of goes unsaid, Brad, but it's so cool. So look at this channel. So this is my stocks that I have liked, and I've been liking them since the feature was available. So now what we've in essence created is a way for you, for every single person, to have their own custom channel, because this channel is relative to only what you click on it. You know, everything that I've liked is here. You know, I just added SKLN, remember? It's here now. These are the things that I have myself, through my own observation, have clicked and liked. So this becomes your own customizable view of the software that you will get by viewing other channels, checking other things out, seeing if you like them, and if you do, simply doing the same thing that you do on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter. Okay, so next, what else do we do that's so different? Let's talk about that real quick.
Have you shown price alerts?
Sorry, Brad, were you going to say something?
Oh, I just say, have you shown price alerts? I've been answering questions, so I kind of been tuning in with one ear, but
okay, no, it's fine.
I should just let you go.
Keep answering the questions. I'm going to get to all of it. The first thing I'm trying to do is people ask us, well, how do I learn how to trade? It's a complicated question, but we have a fantastic answer. Okay, so every single stock that you see in Trade Ideas, I'm going to move this to the social media channel just to expose another element of our technology that you don't see in too many other places, which is that we not only look at data from the stock market, but we look at data from social media. In this case, we track stock twits mentions on every single stock, and we can see if something's being talked about normally or way above normal. 100 would be normal, and this is 8 times more, 22, 116, etc. So eBay gapping up after hours. Why is this important for me to tell you? Well, let me show you. Look at these lines right here, and this is where they are in the after hours chart. We have asked our software to do this. For every stock, when one of you guys, one of us, pulls it up, it tells you what the AI would do if it were you and entering the stock at its current price. Let me switch that over to MA so you can just see it. It's there for every stock. See right here? That's your stop. Every stock has a hypothetical stop based on when you just looked at it, assuming that you just got in. It does it for small stocks. I'm gonna actually like this one. See, notice my behavior. I'm seeing something. I like it. Okay, now it's in my other window. So every single stock, assuming that you're in it at its current price, wherever that is, gives you a stop area and a profit target. These are your guideposts. This is your Google navigation. Who else is doing this? I'll tell you who. Nobody. This is how we are changing the game. We've embedded education inside the software. Your teacher is in here, except the difference is your teacher doesn't go to lunch, doesn't go to the bathroom. It watches everything and anything, and it watches it all the time. So look at Twitter. If I could type, that is. Here's Twitter. Again, the AI says, all right, I don't know if Dan is in this stock, but if he is, at its current level, this is where I would put the stop, and look at where I would put the profit target. Again, these are just guideposts, but imagine you're looking at TC2000 or eSignal or one of our other competitors. You don't see this information because they are just tools. We are a system. We're a systematic approach to capturing alpha in the market through our technology. We aren't just a tool. We're a method, a system, an approach. That's the difference. Just like HBO, we can create channels on the fly. Notice again, hey, did the AI figure this stock out? It looks like it did. Is this a good swing trade from here to possibly here over 2 months? I mean, this is the stuff that cannot be faked. Now, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I can spend hours and hours talking to you about all these columns and how to do all of this, but that's not really the best thing for me to do on this Q&A webinar, because what I want to do is I want to showcase the fact that you don't have to have paralysis by analysis. Paralysis by analysis. Our competitors keep shoving more tools. Here's another indicator, here's another indicator, here's another indicator. What we are about is a method and a theme. Every stock has what you have. Okay, every stock gives you what you need to see. So the other question, of course, is the artificial intelligence. What does it do? How does it do it? Okay, I'm going to go over that real quick. Every day there's a combine of about 45 strategies that compete with one another through machine learning for trading tomorrow. Okay, and we are putting, Brad, there's already some PDFs that we've published on the data, but it's all going to be on the website. The AI crushes it. We would not be able to grow the way that we're growing right now if the AI did not perform. And the difference is it does both. It goes long and short. Notice again, every time you see a trade, it's even more specific. There's the entry line, there's the stop line, relative, of course, to the trade. And you can see some history. 2 awesome swing trades. Okay, thought there was another breakout, but that didn't work out. And here it was again on the pickup. Buyers stepping in. Again, we have no idea which strategy is going to be there tomorrow because that's all done by the artificial intelligence. This is the difference. While I'm talking to you, and I've said this on other webinars, while Brad and I are doing our darndest of conveying the value proposition, the software right now is crunching data to come up with a set of strategies that best fit tomorrow's trading based on today and about a quarter's worth of data. Think about that. There is right now a assistant to all of you guys, if you're subscribers, of course, that's crunching through approximately 1 million scenarios, 1 million practice trades. So that's Tiger Woods on the range doing muscle memory of 1 million shots. Who on earth, humanly, could even do a hundredth of that? I mean, I've looked at, believe me, Brad and I, both being professional speculators, have, you know, we've tortured ourselves. Going through 20 and taking notes is too much. So what do successful people do? The people that get the most, there are 2 groups of people that get the most out of the Trade Idea software. Number 1, of course, is the people that are experienced, that, by the way, everything links. Okay. So here now, Facebook, I saw that it started to run. Look at that reversal that it just did. Saw it, and that's what made me click on it. So from any element, you can look it up. Just FYI. So there are two simple ways to approach the software. One, if you have trading experience, okay, if you've done it before, you can look at any channel, see the kind of movement that, based on what the channel is doing. Here you have the alpha predator, here you have something that looks interesting, and then you can make your own notations. Like, for example, I'm looking at TGC, I see this move, and I say to myself, let's look at this dollar break right here. Without getting all fancy, I create an alert for myself. It's already hearted, so I already like it, but now I have this pinned alert. This is now mine. It'll come up whenever it crosses this price level, and I know why, because it's looking good. I'll just have to hope that it, doesn't get stuck there like it did these last two times. But again, I'll be aware of it. Doesn't matter which stock. Here, let's say I'm looking for a complete breakout above the profit target. So I'll go right here, create another one, say breakout above profit target. And again, you can do some customization, like when it expires, etc. You can, again, the software lets you do so much, so much. But I'm just keeping it basic. Here, the stock is continuing on its breakout. I'm confident because it just crossed this level. I will be alerted. So this is talking about a person who has some experience. A lot of times if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But why did we invent the AI? Well, we invented the AI for a very simple reason. Most people don't have the time to learn this skill at the level that it needs to be learned to succeed. So we have the AI that basically is doing it for you. This is what a professional trader would trade if they were doing the kind of math that we just discussed, and here it is. So pay attention to this, and you have a chance to really take advantage of the statistics. That's the real way the real way that people kind of address the software. And guess what, guys? Most people are on this way. Most people are using the premium. Why? Because most people don't have the expertise to be, kind of what we call banging it out like Kanish on rounders. Brad, am I getting too deep?
I don't know, buddy. I didn't hear you. My keyboard's so loud that I can't hear what I'm typing.
So okay, so now as part of the Q&A, let's answer some questions. So can you limit the stocks that you want in the AI channel? Paul, it's an interesting question. I can see why you would ask that, but the answer is the AI does it all by itself. We do not tell the AI what to do, because remember, the AI is a statistical animal. We don't want to say, hey, I don't want to see this. You don't have to trade every AI signal. You can just say, oh, this one, that's too expensive. Or maybe you say, this one, that's my perfect stock. It's cheap, I like it. But again, remember that just like everything else, not everything is perfect. There is never, ever have you heard me say that the AI is never wrong. It's just right much more than it's wrong, and you will win more than you will lose. That's, again, why we are growing at the rate that we're growing. But you guys are early. So the answer, Paul, is the statistics limit what is in the AI, not the people. It is up to you to decide whether you want to take the trade or not take it.
Hey, Dan, have you talked about the AI annotations on the chart, the real-time ones, not the historical buy, but that stuff right there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm kind of showing that right now. So here you have an example. When the AI places a trade, historically you see these things, a buy or a sell signal. But in real time you see lines. And notice, like, you have this blue, it says 3.26. That's the AI entry. Okay, entry price 3.26. Here's the last price. It's 2 cents ahead. Whenever you have something that's ahead of the AI, it's blue. When it's in between the stop loss and this area, it's black. Like it's a no-go zone, but it means that, hey, it's in the vestibule in nowhere land, let's say, but potentially getting ready. And if it's below the stop, like MTBC, you will know. This is below the stop. Don't worry about this one. It's going in the wrong direction, so you can literally ignore it. This allows people to trade around the AI. And we've talked so much about the fact that you don't have to be perfect with it. Like, let's say MMP. In fact, I'll show this as an example. Now this one, notice the entry was right here. It went a little bit against you, like 14, 15, 20, maybe 20 cents, right? So let's look at the minutes. Entry, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And after 35 minutes of being in the trade, that's when it started to work out. That's how it's done. And that's what the beauty of being an active investor is that it isn't, we talk about the fact that there's some people out there on the internet who are amazing scalpers, guys who are former gamers who can just play the market like they play Modern Warfare or Quake. But most people aren't going to be like that. And that's why we say that just access to this information, you don't have to always be just like, oh yeah, I got to get in, oh I miss it, how can I miss it? And don't worry. We are here for human pace. We're using the AI to have an advantage. This is not high frequency trading. That's just all complete bullshit. And by the way, it's totally dead. This is speculation raised to a different level for humans. This is the equivalent of card counting in Vegas. That's what you see here, ladies and gentlemen. We are card counting in Vegas. So then what I'm going to show you is the difference between risk on and risk off. And what does that mean? A lot of people ask us this question. So everyone is different in the stock market. Some people have $25,000 accounts. Some people have $125,000 accounts. Some people have $1 million account. Depending on how much risk you can take, you have an option of being risk on or risk off. Risk on favors those who can handle more risk. Sometimes you can just come in because of your work schedule where it's transitioning from risk off to risk on. And again, that's the difference. If you're super conservative, you would have lost 34 cents because, remember I showed you this MMP? See, it didn't go for 35 minutes. So the super scalpers probably didn't make money on this. But the people who could hold it a little bit longer, again, it never hit the stop, people were able to take advantage. So the market isn't fair specifically. It favors those who can handle more risk, which is why I kind of had that in the first part of the PowerPoint. Risk taking is favored in the stock market. And we have a way for you to take that risk better than any of our competitors, simply put. Again, only because you have the guideposts, whether it's something you're about to do, where you see these dotted lines, they're different because the software doesn't know you're in it, but it says, hey, if I was in it, I wouldn't let it go too much below this, and I'd maybe take some profit right here because there's resistance. I mean, again, this is artificial intelligence. You're doing it right this way. This is the eloquent professional speculator's approach to doing it. This is how professional poker players do it, professional blackjack players do it. They know ahead of time because they've done so many repetitions. We've built those repetitions and we put them into the software. And of course, you have the ability to really then add your own personal touch. So this is your training partner, your guru, your assistant, your analyst, whatever you want to call it. This is it. And it ain't no tool. This is the sophisticated approach to active asset management. Remember, almost anything that you could possibly want to see, we have a channel for it. Let's say you're into earnings. Up with earnings today, down with earnings today, up with earnings tomorrow, down with earnings tomorrow. I mean, I can't even, like Brad, who's a really much better student than I was. That's why he's not the CEO. I was like, Brad, I need this for people like me, for the C student. I want it easy.
That was exactly the roadmap we used, right?
Yes. Can a C student do it? And believe me, the C student's killing it. Again, hopefully you're seeing that without me typing and switching symbols, you're already getting that neuro-linguistic programming, the myelin. You're seeing visually where the AI puts its stop. So you're learning something whether you want to or not. That's the good thing. So what you are actually able to do with our software, again, let's say you like you're not into trading stocks that are going down, you just like the upward movement. So here you have price moving up, big gainers today, week, year, and then of course the stream. All of this is done for you. So look at this one, low float. So someone was asking about the smaller stocks, okay? We cover it all. And in terms of support, that's the other thing. Remember, you're here on the Q&A webinar where I kind of give an overall general gist of how things are done, and we answer specific questions. But our filtering, our alerting is so in depth. I mean, anything you want to do, like I'll just go to let's see, Scott's question on the small stocks. Let's say, for example, I wanted to be alerted. Notice here, start from scratch. We'll start completely from scratch. So I want to say I want to be alerted when a new 20-day high is being made on stocks that are at defaults. Now you can see that are between $1 and $10, that have a average 3-month volume of, let's say, 500,000. But today are trading 3 times more than normal. Again, this is just basic stuff, and I'll add OTCs, okay? And I'll call this for Patrick or Scott. I can't, who am I button for Scott? I'm confused because I'm thinking it's my Scott. By the way, Brett, that better not be our Scott that's asking me all the questions.
It's not.
Okay. So Scott, here I've got this window that's alerting me when smaller stocks are starting to break out. I can go to history. I can see, well, what's happened today? So you can kind of see what it looks like in real time. Some beautiful names. I'm gonna have to hard this, okay? And then someone just went right into, it's like, does Peter work for us? Pedro, I mean, does Pedro work for us? Pedro asked a good question. Can you backtest this? Hell to the yes. Backtest the strategy. So this is how we, again, do it. Notice, no if, then, PDQ, calculus, none of that bullshit. Let's just pretend for a minute. Now you're seeing West Coast time, ladies and gentlemen, so please don't think that this is pre-market or anything like that. To a Californian, this is what normal market hours looks like. And here I am pretending that I'm human and I don't get up at, right for the open. I got to get my coffee and, whatever. So I come in at 7 in the morning and that's when I'm ready to trade, just for hypothetically speaking, okay? And of course, I'm not going to buy things on the close. So I don't trade, let's say, after 11. Brad, do you know why? Because I'm a doctor. That's when I do most of my surgeries are all after 11, okay? So this is my trading window. Then I'm going to say, well, when do I get out? This is the kind of stuff that people get a little bit confused about, but don't worry. Our software lets you test almost anything. How about 30 minutes? How about 11? What about 178? 4 at a time a day. How about say I'm going to see like 15 minutes before the close. So we're going to talk about just today, but I'll show you how to do longer terms as well. Okay. So this is it, just very high level. I'm going to get into these and get out at 15 minutes to the close. I'm going to simulate the buy. You're seeing what the software does in the server room, but you're seeing it graphically. Peter, I'll show you how to do that stuff. Don't worry. I'm just I'm letting it run through its paces. Okay. So here's, you guys are now seeing, by the way, something that most people have never seen before, which is what really happens when you let some numbers speak. And why is it that we invented the AI? Well, we invented the AI, by the way, because we found out that when people just guess on their own, and that's what almost 99.9% of the people do in the stock market, they just guess, these are the actual odds. Right here, almost anything you pick, whether long or short, if you're going for one day, right around here, these are the odds. Hey, Brad, stop your clickety-clacking.
I'm so sorry. I thought I was muted.
I don't want you on mute. I just don't want you to clickety-clack. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to run this again. I'm going to change the exit. How about 15 minutes? Let's make it 20, because, you know, just want to show you how easy it is to change variables. So here, less time means you're actually winning more than you're losing, but it's still nothing that you want to do systematically. That's the lesson I'm trying to tell you. That's why we invented the AI. So you see these odds, the 41% here, and then there's the odds of 46%. Now notice, let me pin this real quick so it doesn't go away. When we show you our AI, look at this is the historical from what we worked with. So this strategy that is called buyers stepping in, the one that we're looking for a bounce, historically was at 60% success, but today it didn't work. I mean, only one trade on all of them. And the one that won was a 64%er. So in other words, these are the tests. So when we give you something, this is how well it has to test. This is the combine. In other words, we treat this like the NFL. Unless you can run and catch and do the 40 and bench press a certain amount, you cannot get in the game. This is how these things get in the game. But even when they're this good, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. That just means it's a setup. You have confidence. So the next question was, how do I change some of these parameters, okay, on this window that I did for Scott, I think. So right click, configure. When you right click and configure, that shows you everything that you have set up. And notice we have tabs. You can search, like let's say I wanted to say SMA. I mean, I can add an alert of the 5-period SMA crosses above the 8th, below. Here, these are different time frames, 1 minute, 2 minute, 4 minute. I mean, this is why our software is so incredible, because we do all of this behind the scenes. And then you can do filtering. And for those that don't know, I mean, there's just different things that you can do with filters versus alerts. There's top lists, all sorts of, again, almost unimaginable ways that you can combine the data. But just on a very simple example, what I'm going to show you is I can say, hey, now it's trading 3 times normal volume, but in the 1 minute where I catch it, I want the 1 minute to be 500%. Let's see if that changes anything. And I'll add the name, say Scott, 1 minute at 500% volume. So that's some of the things that we can track. Again, we're watching everything on every time frame behind the scenes. So I'll go back and back test, timed exit 20 minutes, and let's see what happens. Does that give us an advantage? And the answer is a little bit. Not here, but just have a little bit of a spread. So Suresh, let me just give you, and this is to everybody. Lots of people come to Trade Ideas and say, hey, can your software do the hammers and the continuations and the moving average of this and the pitchfork and the Fibonacci and the Wilder flower and the sativa indica golden? Oh wait, sorry, I went to a different genre. But the point is, none of these things work. If they worked, somebody would already be doing it. This is called the technical analysis sleight of hand. And it's not that we're specifically against technical analysis. It is just that by itself, it does nothing. Let me explain. Configure, search. So I'm going to go to alerts. Brad, what are our?
So let's do this game. Actually, can I kind of move you in a different direction with Suresh, because I think what he's asking here is we do have something that's kind of hidden from everybody. It's a little Easter egg. If you go to the
can we? You're going to go to the RBI GBI?
No, I was going to in our symbol lists. We have, if you go to add existing list, we do have a daily folder. It's right at the bottom of your window right there. You see it's
You're so advanced, Brad.
Right there.
Not the Brad.
It's right there at the top. It's right there. It says daily. It just expand that. And what we do is hit the plus. What we do is we build these different symbol lists every night with a daily pattern. So if it's a daily doji, it's going to get dropped into that daily symbol list. So then you can go ahead and reference that symbol list in an alert window or a top list window. So that may be what you're asking for.
So here I'm saying hammer, for example, but now because I've said this, what I want to do is get rid of these filters, because what will happen is it might just get rid of all the stocks, and I want to at least show you guys something. So I'll go 1 to 20 and I'll say hammer time. What would I do without that Brad? Here I am trying to.
So something like this, you'll probably need to run a history, and you may not have had a hammer making a new high like that, because again, this is a daily, but a top list would probably be a better.
You're right.
I think a top list would be a better forum for that type of daily list, right?
But let's just even say heartbeat, or how about you can do something more advanced like a 5-minute high. Whoops. I'm trying to remember if hammer is negative or positive, Brad.
I don't know.
Let's see if this does it. Boom, hammers. So we're on the right track. Okay. Brad's, why do you think Brad's my number one? I'm Picard, but Picard's just there for, the Shakespeare. Brad's the one that does all the work. So here, we're hammering, and you can see what it is, and obviously, if you zoomed in, you would see why it's happening. So you can do all of that. And then I can do the same thing that I did before, which is I can say now, since I saw there was a lot of alerts, I can add a couple of filters just to make it a little bit more, stringent. And then I can back test it. I can run my hypotheticals. 20-minute hammer sounds very small, so let's go back to what we did before. It's no optimization, nothing. So this is why Suresh, so this is kind of why I was saying what I was saying before. Peter, yes, backtesting is only available in the premium version. Yes, you can run the hammers on your daily list, or you would be able to see if a hammer matched it. I mean, you can import your list and see if your list matched the hammer. I don't think that's a problem. But my point is, don't get stuck on those things. Don't get stuck on hammers and sickles and North Koreas and rocket men, because the truth of the market is much more free flowing. You know, the market is so dynamic that no one thing, especially that was written, you know, in 1999, works. You have to use multiple factors. Okay, this is your advantage. This is what we want to do. We want to kind of get you away from the mindset that is the hammer and get you to the mindset of what Liam is asking. He's like, show me the money, homie. Liam, here. This is the money. Here is a signal from the software. And again, we talk a lot about the swing trading aspect of it. And you know, I'm not a believer that getting in and out and trying to, you know, get one piece of pasta out of a pasta bowl is the way that you can successfully invest. You want to get into something and hopefully that something runs, you know, and that's what you see here. This is what we try to find for you. Every single one of our artificial intelligence plays, okay, every single one of them is designed for the longer term. I mean, notice again these moves. Like here, you have these two. You're almost at a similar level. The AI can see that, and look what happened after that. Okay, just like on this short. The idea is that, man, if you got this right, potentially you go a long way. Does that make sense, guys? You know, people ask us, what's the indicator that works? And the answer is there is not one. The system is what works, and the system is the AI and the fact that every single stock you want to pull up, like for example, just guys, give me symbols, just a few that you like, just so you can kind of really drill this down. XOM, I mean, perfect. What is the most important thing for you to, if you were just hypothetically not already holding, but if you were thinking about buying XOM, right? What would be important for you would be to get through the day. Well, this is your stop. If it doesn't hit it, you could, and if you have the capital, you can hold it. That's what you need to know. X. Here it is, 36.72. This is your stop. This is your profit target. Like, in other words, if you bought it right here and it ran up here, depending on what your risk tolerance is, you could take a little bit off the table and see if you can let the rest of it run. But if it goes below here, get out. It's that simple. MCD. If you are in MCD right here, McDonald's, this is your stop. Do not let it go below here. This is the information you need. This is the information that's a must. And of course, Steve Wynn. We like his hotels, but not some of the stuff that he does in them.
A little current news here. Huh?
I know too much, Brad. I know too much. All right. So I want to make sure, did we cover enough? Because we're running already over our hour, and I want to make sure that everyone is comfortable with what they're seeing. The basic themes are every stock is already dialed in for you with entry is the current price, profit target, exit. Everything that looks good, you can make an alert for it, and you can say, for example, coming to me. In other words, I'm saying, it's above, and I want it to come to me. I can move this over here, and the price will adjust by itself to now it's a breakout. So this is the kind of flexibility we want you to have. We want you to spend less time tinkering and more time trading. And remember, the channels, okay? We've got penny movers. I think maybe Scott or someone else was talking about, well, where do you find the small stocks? There's a channel for them. Everything has a channel. This one actually looks kind of good. Boom. Now it's in my personal channel. Social media, volume surging, low float, all the ETFs. It's all here at the press of a button, the Chinese stocks. And I'm just scrolling my mouse wheel, biotechs, fundamentals. We have a channel for active traders who are just, you know, very into the speed, the movement, pullbacks, bounces. Here's you have stocks that are bouncing, ones that are down, but they're bouncing. Okay, in other words, they've been boom, and now they're bouncing.
Right-click in that drive data stream. Show all the different strategies that are present right there. I mean, there's so much more than you actually see. You know, it's looking for all these different types of events, 52-week highs and lows, big extreme movers, social media movers, just all different things. And it's also, guys, it's a roadmap on how to create your own stuff too. So when you advance to the point that you want to create your own windows, we're giving you a roadmap on how to do it. You know, how to create what alerts and what filters to put together to create that message.
So Liam and everyone else, notice when I go to any channel, do you see? It says active trading, there's an on. So every channel that I'm on will have an on button. That's how you know. It's that simple. We want you not to tinker, we want you to trade. That's what you should be doing. Do you like options? We got a channel for that. So my cloud, great question. My cloud is where I store all of my custom windows and everything that I do, but it's not on my software, it's in the cloud, just like Google Drive or Dropbox. So here I have various windows. One of them, one of the most favorite windows of everyone, I'm going to put this in there, it's called halt and resume. So we track halts and resumes. So this was at 9 OMNT, was halted and resumed at 370, and it fell after that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go save and share to cloud, save and share. So I have a link here. I'm going to copy that link, and now I'm going to give it to everybody in this webinar. Who's a subscriber, of course, can use it. So this window will automatically show you all the halts and all the resumes that happen. Let's load it up so you can see what it looked like. Michael, I'll show you that in a second. So see here, in real time, and by the way, if you scroll, you can see the date. Lots of halts and resumes happen. And again, this is other information that most people just never see or don't have. Okay, so but now you guys all have it. So last question will be the one Michael asked about social media. How do you use it? Well, you just press on the channel. And here you are on social media, and you can see bullish. Brad, who am I? Bullish social sentiment and bearish social sentiment. It's that easy. And here you can see stocks where they're sorted by what you need. So for the bearish, you're seeing what's moving down the most just recently of the things that are negative. And for the bullish, you're seeing what's moving up the most over the last 5 minutes that's already up pretty big for the day. Again, all this is done for you. That's the thing. We don't need you to code. You just need to see and react. Scott, every stock is there before the halt. You see what I'm saying? There's no before the halt. It's halted, and that's it. And then it's resumed. So before the halt is any stock. When it's halted, you see it. And then when it resumes, also. Fernando, remember I have filters on and stuff in my windows. So I have a specific halt for things that I'm looking at. If I remove all the filters, we would have the same information. And again, we do it faster because it's all real time. NASDAQ stuff, trust me, this is the real deal. NASDAQ has tried to buy us a few times. We had to say no. I'm serious. Because their price wasn't right. But we aren't for sale, by the way. So we're here for the long term to win it, and we've been doing this since 2003. That's the advantage, guys. No, David, never. we're here to dominate. We believe we can be the next Bloomberg, but without all the deep state stuff. So that's what you got. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint real quick. And what I want to say is we also have podcast on Friday, myself, some of our other members of the Trade Ideas team, where we kind of give a less stringent, more, you know, out there spin on the market, but we want to be real. That's the thing. We don't want to fake this. We want to show you exactly what it's like, so you get to know who the team is, how we perceive everything, and we've had a lot of good positive feedback on that. This is what we're talking about in terms of the price rate increase, roughly speaking. I'm going to keep it there just so you guys can see it a little bit. So this is the reason that this Q&A is important, because you can lock in all of these rates. Mike, do me a favor, shoot an email to Brad at trade-ideas.com, and he'll do that. We'll get you the swing channel. So again, I'm lingering here only so you can see what the rates are, what you're locking in, and what they're going to be coming. This is the big one. For your pleasure, January driver gives you 22% in instant savings off your first month or year of TI premium or standard. This is the biggest discount that we've given, because usually we do it about 15%. So, but because the price increase is coming, there's gigantic demand for the software. Use the all caps January driver is the promo code that you want to use today if you are not a Trade Idea subscriber. Okay. And this is the difference in features and functionality. So don't ignore this one, Holly Coin, right, Scott?
Unmuted.
That code's also good. It's also good to the end of the month, but the end of the month's today. So they'd be better off using the January driver code.
Gotcha. Okay, just make sure that people know. So this is the back testing is limited. So by the way, there was a question about is back testing only available for premium, and I answered yes, but the answer is you have 10 tries of the odds maker with the standard subscription. And similar with the price alerts, where I pinned that little blue line with the TAC icon. And this is the price comparisons.
That's what Dan paid for medical school.
I did. This is what, again, you're getting artificial intelligence and everything else. Suresh, shoot an email to Marissa at trade-ideas.com. We'll see if we can do anything. So Peter, the one-on-one is only available after you are a subscriber, and when you do, there's a calendar that you can go to, and you can sign up for the training sessions. So that's another thing too, is the training sessions are going to go less from one-on-one to more like office hours, where there's going to be approximately 10 to 20 people with the trainer, because we really are almost getting overwhelmed with one-on-one sessions, but you still can do it. So this is where people who are there first, the early bird gets the worm. We are, of course, very easy to get a hold of. My Twitter is at Trade Ideas 1. I talk about everything from politics to chasing rabbits to anything you can imagine. So there's nothing formal or politically correct from this one. Now, if you want your politically correct Trade Ideas, that's right here. And Brad hides, he doesn't go on there. Please like our Facebook. That's all normal and corporate. And this is our email and my personal. I'm not afraid. If you want to get in touch, we're available. We were just featured in the Inc. 5000, and we're most likely going to be the #1 next year. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you again for coming to this webinar, taking your time with us. We are grateful We appreciate it, and we hope you enjoy the technology. There's much more to come. Scott, are we all good?
Yeah, I think we're all set. If anyone has any questions, shoot us an email. Otherwise, we will have a recording up later on tonight or tomorrow morning, and you'll get a reminder in your email tomorrow where to find that replay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.